With more, Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano, author of The Radical Expansion of Presidential Powers and the Lethal Threat to American Liberty. Judge, good to see you.
Likewise, Megan.
You know, he's right about sitting in that U.S. Supreme Court, which I did for 3 years covering the High Court. And,
right.
You know, I practice law, and I know you obviously you're a judge. Let's just start on a good point, which is the amazing process by which we decide certain things in this country and the dignity with which we hash out our disputes compared to other countries that we see.
Well, Jose saw today an extremely dignified oral argument. Whatever side of this you're on, the 8 members of the Supreme Court devour the legal briefs and come in there fully equipped, with the exception of Justice Thomas, who prefers not to ask questions. They come in there fully equipped to challenge the lawyers, and by the manner in which they challenge the lawyers, they are challenging the other members of the court.
That's right. They're trying to convince the other justices. Question, why do you think some were trying to set a trap for the Chief Justice?
There really were 2 oral arguments today. I mean, there was one, but there were 2 parts to it. In the first part, it was very much 4 against 4. The 4 conservatives who I think were prepared to vote that the president doesn't have the authority to do this. No matter how it tugs at the heartstrings, Jose's story is a very, very sympathetic one. He's a unique individual. He's more American than he is Filipino, if I can say that, having spent most of his life here. And the 4 liberal justices saying the president did the right thing, he has the authority, and Congress has given him the authority. Then Justice Kagan said to the Solicitor General,
that's an Obama appointee,
and the government's lawyer, is there a way we could salvage the president's executive orders by tweaking some language here and there? And she said that knowing that the Chief Justice likes questions like that. He likes being creative, and he likes to be able to salvage things. And he went along with it, forgetting this is not a statute, this is not a law written by Congress that is presumed constitutional. This is the president making up a law. It is presumed unconstitutional. It is not their job to try and salvage it.
So we might wind up with a law, something that has the effect of a law that Congress never approved, that the president drafted, that the U.S. Supreme Court tweaked.
Because John Roberts thinks it's the right thing to try and salvage these things.
You tell me, it seemed to me that they were divided on the issue of whether the president had the power to do this. And yes, if they're divided 4-4, then Texas and the 26 states win, because they went in there with a win, and the president's executive action would fail.
Correct.
But they seem to be finding a way to get out of this on a technicality to say, you know what, you states, you don't even have a standing to be here. Do you think it's likely they're going to kick this case out by saying, we can't even hear this because you plaintiffs don't have the right to be here? And if so, what happens?
I don't think that's going to happen, because the Chief Justice himself said you obviously have standing. You're being forced to give driver's licenses and spend money for people that you haven't budgeted. That's enough harm to give you standing, the right to sue, standing. What's the Constitution
he needs
require?
More than himself to reach that conclusion.
I think it's 4-4 on whether the president exceeded his authority, and it's 4-4 on whether they're standing. The question is, does the Chief Justice do some cockamamie thing, like he did with the Affordable Care Act, in order to try and save this? If he does not, and it stays at 4-4, then this thing dies.
Texas wins, and the White House loses.
If Texas loses and the White House wins, the president will have a field day as to what he can do in the next 8 months remaining of his term.
The Attorney General from Texas told me on Friday that if Texas loses this case and President Obama wins, it'll go back down to Texas for a trial. So he thinks there'll be another bite at the apple, but I guess it depends on exactly what they say. Always a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.